Ancient Egypt, with its mysterious pyramids, sphinxes, and grandiose temples, has captured the imagination of generations. The impressive engineering and architectural works of this civilization have led to countless theories about how it was possible to achieve such a level of advancement in such a remote era. Among the most intriguing ideas is the hypothesis that the Egyptians were not alone in their achievements. Some argue that beings from other extraterrestrial worlds visited Earth and offered their knowledge and technology to the pharaohs, changing the course of history forever. This supposed contact with beings from the stars would not only have influenced the construction of monuments, but also the very social and religious structure of ancient Egypt. The gods that the Egyptians worshipped, with their superhuman aspects and infinite wisdom, could have been inspired by beings from other worlds. Thus, Egyptian mythology and religion could be intertwined with experiences and knowledge from other world linked to experiences and knowledge that go beyond the earthly realm, pointing to a close relationship between humans and cosmic visitors. The theory of extraterrestrial contact suggests that many of Egypt's technological and scientific innovations were not solely the result of human ingenuity. From mummification techniques to the construction of the pyramids to astronomical and mathematical knowledge, everything could have been part of an exchange between the pharaohs and these advanced beings. The hieroglyphics and other ancient records may contain coded clues about this collaboration, hiding in plain sight the secrets of an alliance that redefined the course of civilization. As we explore this fascinating idea, a new horizon of possibilities opens up about the true origin of the greatness of ancient Egypt. The stories that unfold below not only fuel curiosity about one of the most influential cultures in history, but also invite us to consider the possibility that contact with extraterrestrial civilizations is not just modern fiction, but a reality that shaped humanity's first great advances. We leave that question for you to ponder before continuing with the story. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support this channel. Thank you. The ancient historian, The History of Ancient Egypt, as we know, it could have a much more enigmatic and amazing background than what traditional historians have postulated, according to ancient legends and writings that have been rediscovered in recent years. There's talk of the arrival of beings from the stars at a time when the first Egyptian dynasties were beginning to establish themselves along the Nile. These beings, with vast knowledge and power incomprehensible to mortals, descended into the heart of Egypt, bringing with them the promise of transforming the desert into a paradise and of erecting a civilization that would defy time. The first appearances of these beings were reported in the night sky when strange lights began to dance over the dunes and the Nile River. The priests responsible for interpreting the signs of the gods were perplexed by this celestial spectacle. Amidst amazement and fear, one of the most powerful pharaohs of the time, considered a direct son of the gods, had a vision. In this vision, the star beings offered him a pact, knowledge and power in exchange for the collaboration of humans in their mysterious plans. The pharaoh, fascinated and convinced that these visitors were divine beings, accepted with reverence. Thus began a new era in the history of Egypt, where extraterrestrials became guides and advisors to the first pharaohs. This pact not only guaranteed the prosperity of the kingdom, but also marked the beginning of a symbiotic relationship between humanity and these celestial beings, who seemed to have a particular interest in the development of this civilization. This dawn of a new era not only brought changes in the political and social structure of Egypt, but also profoundly influenced its culture, religion, and technology. The myths we know today as part of the rich Egyptian mythology could actually be distorted accounts of these first encounters with the star visitors, beings whose existence challenges our understanding of the universe and our place in it. As contacts between the Egyptians and the beings from the stars intensified became more frequent. More detailed accounts of these encounters began to emerge in the chronicles of the scribes and in oral accounts passed down by priests. These initial encounters were carefully planned by the extraterrestrials, who chose a select group of priests and leaders to reveal their knowledge and technology to them in the depths of the temples, far from the gaze of the common people. These beings imparted teachings about the cosmos, the nature of time, and the secrets to mastering matter. One of the first documented encounters occurred near the ancient city of Heliopolis, where a group of priests were taken to a sacred place illuminated by a light that seemed to emanate from the sky itself. There, the beings from the stars revealed their physical appearance: tall, slender figures with piercing eyes and skin that reflected light in an almost supernatural way. The priests, terrified and fascinated, received teachings on the construction of sacred monuments that would be aligned with the stars, ensuring that the legacy of these visitors would endure for millennia. These first contacts also influenced the creation of a new cosmogony in Egypt. The extraterrestrials were assimilated into Egyptian mythology as gods who had come from the stars, beings who had descended from the sky to guide humanity toward a glorious future. Temples were built and statues were erected in their honor, and the pharaohs began to be represented not only as rulers, but as intermediaries between gods and men, invested with a power that transcended the earthly realm. These initial encounters, although shrouded in mystery and occultism, cemented the relationship between humans and beings from the stars. This connection, based on an exchange of knowledge and a mutual promise of loyalty, paved the way for the next step in this relationship: the forging of a cosmic alliance that would unite both civilizations in a common purpose, changing forever the course of Egyptian history. Over time, the relationship between the pharaohs and the beings from the stars was consolidated into what would become known as the Cosmic Pact, an alliance that would unite the rulers of Egypt with these celestial entities in an unbreakable bond. This pact was sealed in a secret ritual in the heart of the desert, where the pharaoh, as representative of humanity, swore allegiance to the visitors, while they in turn promised to provide Egypt with knowledge and technology that no other civilization on earth possessed. The pact not only ensured the stability and prosperity of the kingdom, but also involved an exchange of knowledge that allowed the pharaohs and their priests to understand the secrets of the universe. The extraterrestrials shared with the Egyptians the mysteries of time and space, advanced mathematics, astronomy, and medicine, knowledge that would later become the basis for the astonishing development of Egyptian civilization. In exchange, the pharaohs offered their land and their people to carry out the projects that the visitors considered crucial to their own ends. This agreement also ushered in a new era of construction in Egypt. The pharaohs, with the help of their stellar allies, began to erect colossal monuments that defy human understanding to this day. The pyramids, temples, and sphinxes not only served as tombs and places of worship, but also as anchor points for a cosmic energy that the beings from the stars needed to channel. Thus, Egypt was transformed into an advanced civilization, not only in terms of power and wealth, but also in its understanding of the universe and its place in it. The Cosmic Pact was also an alliance of power where the pharaohs, backed by these superior beings, consolidated their dominion over the rest of the known world with the blessing and technology of the visitors. Egypt became an empire, and the pharaohs became living gods who ruled with almost absolute power. However, this pact would also bring challenges and risks, as not all the forces at play agreed with this alliance, and some began to question the true intentions of the beings from the stars. One of the most surprising aspects of the pact between the pharaohs and the beings from the stars was the introduction of technology that seemed millennia ahead of its time. The visitors shared with the Egyptians tools and knowledge that defied known human capabilities, allowing them to perform architectural and scientific feats that still amaze researchers today. This advanced technology not only facilitated the construction of monuments, but also transformed everyday life in Egypt. The stone cutting and molding tools introduced by the extraterrestrials were of unparalleled precision, allowing the Egyptians to work with materials such as granite and limestone with an ease that was previously unthinkable. These instruments, which are said to were capable of cut rock as if it were butter, They allowed the creation of monuments with a geometric perfection and astronomical alignment that remains an enigma to modern archaeologists. In addition, the visitors provided knowledge about energy, probably an advanced form of electricity or solar energy that was used in the operation of machines and in the lighting of the interiors of temples and pyramids. But the technology was not limited to construction. The Egyptians, guided by the beings from the stars, also made significant advances in medicine, hydraulic engineering, and navigation. It is said that the priests, instructed by the visitors, were able to perform complex surgeries and develop embalming techniques that defied death itself. Likewise, their knowledge of the stars and astronomy allowed the Egyptians to build ships that could navigate with astonishing precision, expanding their influence beyond the borders of the Nile. However, the introduction of this technology was not without controversy. Some sectors of Egyptian society, especially those who clung to ancient traditions, began to view the growing influence of extraterrestrials in their culture with suspicion. They feared that dependence on these advanced tools could weaken the spirit and determination of the Egyptian people, making them vulnerable to the whims of the visitors. This underlying tension would begin to generate conflicts that would threaten the stability of Egyptian society, conflicts that would threaten the stability of the Cosmic Pact. The design of the pyramids, and the Great Pyramid of Giza in particular, are perhaps the most enduring legacies of the alliance between the Egyptian pharaohs and the beings from the stars. According to ancient accounts, these monumental structures were not only tombs for the pharaohs, but also complex devices built for a purpose that went beyond the earthly realm. The extraterrestrials shared with the Egyptians advanced knowledge of sacred geometry, astronomy, and physics that were essential for the planning and construction of these architectural marvels. The pyramids were designed to be in perfect alignment with certain constellations and celestial bodies, serving as giant antennas or energy portals that connected the Earth to the cosmos. The celestial visitors imparted to the royal architects the secrets of the golden ratio and other mathematical principles that would ensure that these structures would withstand the passage of time and channel forces. Cosmic forces invisible to the human eye. Every stone, every measurement, and every angle had a specific purpose orchestrated under the direction of these beings with knowledge that surpassed anything humans had ever known. In addition to their esoteric function, the pyramids were also built with such astonishing precision that even today, modern engineers and architects struggle to understand how such feats were achieved with the technology that was supposedly available at the time. The stone blocks, some of which weigh several tons, were cut, transported, and assembled with a precision that belies any conventional theory about their construction. Accounts from the time speak of mysterious machines and tools supposedly provided by extraterrestrials that allowed the Egyptian builders to overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges. The process of building the pyramids was also a collaborative project between humans and beings from the stars, a symbol of the Cosmic Pact that united both civilizations. However, the true purpose of the pyramids and their connection to the cosmos remains a mystery, one that has generated countless theories and speculations. What is clear is that these structures were not merely funerary monuments, but part of a much larger design, a legacy of the interaction between humanity and those who came from the stars. At the heart of Egypt's architectural wonders of Egypt lies a mystery that has puzzled historians for centuries. The secret behind the gigantic stones used in the construction of the pyramids. These stone blocks, some weighing several tons, were cut with astonishing precision and then transported from distant quarries to the construction site. Conventional theories speak of rudimentary tools and massive manpower, but an alternative perspective suggests that the ancient Egyptians may have received assistance from otherworldly beings who provided them with advanced technology to cut and move these colossal blocks. This extraterrestrial knowledge supposedly included devices that manipulated energy in ways we still do not understand. There is talk of tools that use sound waves or vibrations to cut stone with a precision impossible for the technologies known at the time. Advanced energy would have allowed the Egyptians to cut blocks of stone as smoothly as if they were carving butter. Once cut, these blocks would not have been moved by brute force, but by the manipulation of energy fields that counteract gravity, facilitating their transport across the desert. The theory goes on to suggest that these energy fields could have been generated through devices that harnessed a universal energy, perhaps a form of free energy that extraterrestrials mastered, but that humans have not yet rediscovered. These devices would have been given to the pharaohs by extraterrestrials as part of a cosmic pact, allowing the Egyptians to erect structures that would withstand the passage of time and become symbols of power and divine knowledge. This secret, jealously guarded by the priestly elites, would have been lost over time, leaving behind only the imposing structures as a testament to lost knowledge. The myth of advanced energy and alien technology. The construction of the pyramids not only enriches the narrative of Egypt's greatness, but also raises fascinating questions about the true extent of ancient knowledge and its possible extraterrestrial origin. If these mysteries were true, they would completely change our understanding of human history and the civilizations that have shaped it. The construction of the pyramids was not only a feat of architecture and logistics, but also a miracle of engineering that, according to some theories, could have been facilitated by out-of-this-world technologies. The idea that the ancient Egyptians used anti-gravity to lift the enormous stones that make up the pyramids has gained popularity among those who believe in extraterrestrial intervention in ancient times. According to this theory, extraterrestrials provided the Egyptians with devices that altered the gravitational fields around the stone blocks, allowing them to be lifted with ease and placed in place with pinpoint accuracy. These devices, which would have been known only to a select group of priests and pharaohs, allowed the builders to lift stones weighing several tons without the need for ramps or pulleys. By manipulating gravity, these tools would have made the blocks float in the air, facilitating their exact placement in the pyramid structure. This theory not only explains the uncanny alignment and assembly of the stones, but also sheds light on the speed with which these colossal structures were built. The use of anti-gravity would have been part of sacred knowledge passed down directly from the beings of the stars to the leaders of Egypt. This knowledge, which defies the laws of physics as we understand them today, could have been the key to building monuments that would withstand the passage of millennia. The ability to defy gravity would also have been seen as a divine gift. Further proof of the almost celestial status of the pharaohs, who were considered intermediaries between the gods and men. This mastery of anti-gravity would not only have allowed the construction of the pyramids, but would also have reinforced the power of the pharaohs, who could claim control over the forces of nature thanks to their connections with the gods of the sky. This legacy of power and knowledge, although lost to modern humanity, remains a subject of speculation and wonder, inviting reflection on the true capabilities of ancient civilizations and possible links with intelligences beyond our world. In addition to the technology to manipulate gravity, the legends of ancient Egypt suggest that the gods, or perhaps extraterrestrials, possessed advanced vehicles that allowed them to travel through the sky and the stars. These ships of the gods, described in ancient texts and representations, could be interpreted as air or space transportation devices that were very advanced by the standards of the time. The descriptions of flying chariots in sacred texts and hieroglyphics could be primitive interpretations of alien technology seen by the ancient Egyptians. These vehicles would have been used not only to carry the gods, but also to transport the pharaohs and their chosen ones on their sacred journeys. It is believed that these ships were capable of moving at incredible speeds and could cross dimensions or stellar distances in an instant, allowing the pharaohs and their followers to travel to the stars or perhaps to other dimensions as part of their communion with cosmic beings. These ships would have been powered by energy sources unknown to humanity, possibly extracted from the secrets of the universe that the extraterrestrials mastered. Extraterrestrial transportation technology could also have played a crucial role in the construction and organization of Egypt. The pharaohs, possessing the ability to communicate and travel with the gods, would have obtained knowledge and resources that were beyond the reach of ordinary mortals. This would have further consolidated their power and reinforced the idea that the pharaohs were semi-divine beings destined to rule with absolute authority over the earth. The legends of the chariots of the sky continue to fascinate scholars and enthusiasts of alternative history, who see in them evidence of a past in which humanity was in contact with advanced civilizations from other worlds. These stories, beyond their veracity, reflect the awe and reverence with which the ancient Egyptians would have perceived these technologies, seeing them as a direct bridge between the divine and the earthly. The construction of the pyramids and other monuments in ancient Egypt would not have been possible without the direct intervention of extraterrestrial beings who, according to some theories, worked side by side with humans to erect these colossal structures. These beings, described as builders of the stars, not only contributed their advanced technology, but also shared their vast knowledge of astronomy, geometry, and energy alignment, essential aspects for the creation of such perfect and durable monuments. Stories suggest that these extraterrestrials were not mere supervisors, but actively participated in the construction process. They taught the Egyptians unknown construction techniques, such as the use of vibrations to mold and assemble stone blocks with perfect precision. It is also believed that they guided the architects and priests in the alignment pyramids with specific constellations, establishing a connection between Earth and the cosmos, which gave these monuments a purpose beyond the merely funerary or religious. This joint effort between extraterrestrials and humans would have left an indelible mark on Egyptian culture. The pharaohs and their architects, inspired by their companions from the stars, would have continued to use this sacred knowledge to build temples, tombs, and other monuments that emulated the greatness of the gods. Construction techniques passed down through generations would have become a divine legacy, an inheritance that conferred on the pharaohs unparalleled power and authority. The idea that extraterrestrials worked alongside the Egyptians not only adds a mystical element to the history of Egypt, but also offers an intriguing explanation for the seemingly superhuman capabilities of this ancient civilization. Through this cosmic collaboration, the Egyptians not only built monuments that would withstand the passage of time, but also cemented their place as one of the most advanced and enigmatic civilizations in history. The pyramids of Egypt, especially the Great Pyramid of Giza, have fascinated generations of archaeologists and explorers not only for their imposing structure, but also for the mysteries hidden within. It is said that these pyramids contain secret chambers designed not only to serve as tombs, but for more enigmatic purposes, possibly related to the connection between Earth and the cosmos. These inaccessible chambers, unknown to most, are said to have been created under the direction of extraterrestrials to house advanced technology or to serve as portals to other dimensions. Legends speak of hidden corridors and sealed chambers containing artifacts of extraterrestrial origin designed to protect cosmic wisdom and maintain the balance between the energies of the Earth and the universe is believed to be these. Secret spaces were deliberately hidden using architectural techniques that defied time and detection in order to preserve their contents from those not initiated into the sacred mysteries. Only the pharaohs and priests of the highest rank would have known about these places and would have used their power to maintain spiritual and political control over Egypt. Furthermore, some theories suggest that these chambers could have been used to communicate with beings from the stars, acting as linkages between the earthly world and extraterrestrial civilizations. The precise and deliberate alignments of the pyramids could have served as guides for the ships of the gods to find their way to Earth, using the pyramids as cosmic beacons. This connection between the secret chambers and space would have been a key element in the perpetuation of pharaonic power, linking the Egypt's destiny to the stars. The existence of these secret chambers, although not yet confirmed by conventional archaeology, remains a subject of speculation and fascination. If ever discovered, they could reveal astonishing truths about the relationship between the ancient Egyptians and extraterrestrial beings, and how this alliance may have influenced the construction of one of the most impressive civilizations in human history. The construction of the pyramids and other ancient monuments in Egypt remains one of humanity's greatest mysteries. Although traditional theories suggest that they were built with simple tools and manual labor, some scholars and alternative history theorists propose a more daring idea: the use of electromagnetic energy to facilitate construction. According to this theory, extraterrestrials would have provided the ancient Egyptians with an advanced form of technology that allowed them to manipulate the energy of the cosmos to move and assemble the enormous stone blocks with precision. It is believed that this technology used electromagnetic energy that allowed builders to lift and transport blocks weighing several tons without the need for traditional ramps and pulleys. This energy, which could have been extracted from the Earth itself or from the stars, would have been channeled through special devices that the pharaohs kept secret. Although invisible to the naked eye, these tools would have been capable of altering the gravitational field, making the stones appear to float, thus facilitating their placement in the pyramids. It is also said that the pyramids themselves could have acted as enormous accumulators of this cosmic energy. Their perfect geometric shapes and precise orientation would have allowed them to concentrate and channel electromagnetic energy, creating a kind of force field that facilitated construction and served other spiritual and ritual purposes. This would explain the technical perfection and durability of these monuments, which have stood the test of time. This advanced use of energy would not only have allowed the Egyptians to build the pyramids efficiently, but would also have reinforced the perception of the pharaohs as divine beings with access to a power that transcended the earthly realm. The alliance with extraterrestrials not only gave them knowledge, but also control over invisible forces of the universe, consolidating their power over Earth and their connection with the gods. The symbol of the Eye of Horus is one of the most recognizable emblems of ancient Egyptian culture, representing protection, health, and royal power. However, some researchers suggest that this symbol is much more than a simple spiritual amulet. It could be a representation of advanced ancient technology given to the pharaohs by extraterrestrials. According to this theory, the Eye of Horus not only had spiritual significance, but also symbolized an extraterrestrial surveillance device or system used to maintain order and control in ancient Egypt. This all-seeing eye could have been a device that allowed the pharaohs and priests to observe and monitor their subject from a distance, ensuring that divine laws were obeyed and sacred rituals were carried out without interruption. This surveillance system would have been part of the advanced technology shared by extraterrestrial beings who helped the pharaohs maintain their rule and secure their connection to cosmic forces. It is also speculated that this surveillance system could have been used to monitor the pharaohs themselves, ensuring that they did not stray from the divine path. Speculated that this surveillance system could have had the ability to detect and channel spiritual energy, allowing the pharaohs to communicate directly with the extraterrestrial gods or receive visions of the future. In this context, the Eye of Horus becomes more than just a symbol of power. It is a tool that connects the human with the divine and the earthly with the cosmic. The pharaohs, as intermediaries between heaven and earth, used this technology to govern and protect their people, consolidating their authority. The presence of this surveillance technology would have reinforced the perception of the pharaohs as semi-divine beings endowed with a power that went beyond human knowledge. This control over advanced technology, concealed under religious symbols, would have been key to maintaining stability and order in the Egyptian empire, making the pharaohs not only political leaders but also guardians of cosmic knowledge. The alignment of the pyramids of Egypt with the stars is a fact that has fascinated astronomers and archaeologists for centuries. The pyramids of Giza, in particular, are aligned with the stars of Orion's belt, a detail that suggests advanced astronomical knowledge. Some theorists propose that this knowledge was not of human origin, but was transmitted by extraterrestrial beings who helped the ancient Egyptians map the sky and build their monuments in perfect alignment with the constellations. With their mastery of star navigation, the extraterrestrials would have guided the Egyptians and the arrangement of the pyramids to reflect the structure of the cosmos on Earth. This star map not only served to orient the pyramids, but also had a deep spiritual meaning, connecting the kingdom of the pharaohs with the stars, ensuring that their souls would find their way to the afterlife. Under the direction of these beings, the Egyptians used advanced instruments that allowed them to accurately measure the position of the stars and replicate their alignment in Earth. This stellar knowledge would also have been used in other aspects of Egyptian life, such as in the planning of temples and cities, ensuring that the entire empire was in harmony with the cosmos. The alignments were not only for the glory of the pharaohs, but reflected an understanding of the universe as an interconnected whole, where every monument and every ritual was part of a greater plan designed by extraterrestrial gods. The astronomical alignment of the pyramids is one of the most enduring legacies of this cosmic collaboration, a constant reminder of the relationship between the Egyptians and the stars. By building these monuments according to a cosmic design, the pharaohs not only ensured their immortality, but also left a lasting mark that continues to fascinate humanity, suggesting that the secrets of the universe were within their reach thanks to the guidance of beings from other worlds. The Great Sphinx of Giza is one of the most enigmatic and fascinating structures of antiquity, with its mysterious smile, its mysterious origins, and its mysterious purpose. Mysterious and fascinating structures of antiquity. With its lion's body and human face, this colossal statue has generated countless theories about its origin and purpose. One of the most intriguing theories suggests that the Sphinx was not only a human creation, but was erected with the help of extraterrestrial beings who contributed their advanced technology and knowledge to build this stone guardian that watches over the pyramids. It is believed that the Sphinx was designed to serve as a symbol of protection using technologies that were beyond the understanding of the ancient Egyptians. The extraterrestrials, with their advanced energy tools, would have carved the Sphinx directly into the rock to create such a precise and durable structure that it has withstood millennia of erosion. Furthermore, its strategic position in front of the pyramids suggests that the Sphinx could have been a focal point of energy, a place where cosmic forces were concentrated. According to this theory, the purpose of the Sphinx, was not only to protect the pyramids, but also to act as a conduit between Earth and the heavens. Some believe that the Sphinx was aligned with certain stars or constellations and served as a marker on Earth to guide extraterrestrial spacecraft to Egypt. This stone guardian, with its gaze fixed to the east, may have been connected to ancient star navigation routes used by the space gods. The combination of an imposing size, precise orientation, and durability suggests that the Sphinx is more than just a statue. It is a legacy of an era in which humans and extraterrestrials worked together to create monuments that reflected their power and knowledge. The Sphinx remains a symbol of mystery, an enigma that encapsulates the possibility that ancient Egypt was shaped not only by human hands, but also by forces from beyond this world. The pharaohs of ancient Egypt were not only seen as earthly rulers, but as intermediaries between the gods and men. This spiritual connection, according to some theories, extended beyond the divine to a direct relationship with extraterrestrial beings who imparted knowledge and power to the leaders of Egypt. The power rituals practiced by the pharaohs were, in this context, much more than religious ceremonies. They were acts of communion with the gods of space, designed to channel cosmic energy and ensure the prosperity of the kingdom. These rituals included the invocation of cosmic forces, the use of alien technology camouflaged as religious artifacts, and participation in ceremonies that connected the power of the pharaohs with the universe. The extraterrestrials would have instructed the pharaohs in the use of these rituals, teaching them how to align their energies with those of the stars and planets to maintain balance on Earth. These practices were essential to ensure that Egypt remained in harmony with the cosmos, and that the pharaohs maintained their status as quasi-divine beings. Divine beings. Egyptian temples, with their astronomical alignments and complex designs, were centers of these power rituals. The pharaohs, assisted by priests who were also attuned to the cosmic forces, performed ceremonies that not only reinforced their authority, but also kept the lines of communication open with extraterrestrial beings. These ceremonies could include symbolic sacrifices, the recitation of sacred incantations, and the use of sacred objects that acted as receivers of cosmic energy. The spiritual connection between the pharaohs and the alien gods was a key element in the stability and success of ancient Egypt. Through these rituals, the pharaohs not only secured their place in history, but also strengthened the relationship between the kingdom of men and the cosmos, ensuring that the blessings of the extraterrestrial gods continued to flow to the earth, maintaining the greatness of Egypt for generations. In the heart of ancient Egypt, Giza was not only conceived as a monumental city to honor the pharaohs, but according to certain theories, it was designed as an advanced metropolis with the help of extraterrestrial beings. The geometric and precise layout of the pharaohs, but according to certain theories, it was designed as an advanced metropolis with the help of extraterrestrial beings. The precise geometric layout of the pyramids and the surrounding structures suggests that Giza was planned as a model city intended to reflect the cosmic knowledge of these visitors. The Egyptians, under the guidance of their stellar allies, built Giza not only as a religious and cultural center, but as a symbol of the union between heaven and earth, where each building alignment had a purpose that went beyond the earthly realm. The extraterrestrials contributed advanced knowledge of urban planning and architecture, which allowed the Egyptians to create an unprecedented urban system. It is believed that Giza was designed to maximize energy efficiency and harmony with the cosmos. The streets and buildings were aligned with the constellations and the path of the sun, which not only had religious significance, but also a practical purpose to capture and channel cosmic energies for the benefit of the city and its inhabitants. This detailed planning allowed Giza to flourish as a vibrant, technologically advanced, and spiritually elevated city. In addition, Giza was equipped with infrastructure that defied time. It has been suggested that the ancient Egyptians, with the guidance of the star beings, built advanced water supply systems using underground wells that may have been fed by geomagnetic energy. These energy sources not only served to keep the city running, but also protected the population from disease and ensured the well-being of its inhabitants. This concept of a self-sufficient and self-sustaining city was, for the Egyptians, a direct reflection of the cosmic order. The metropolis of Giza, with its pyramids as its nerve centers, was not only a place for daily life, but also a laboratory for experimenting with alien technologies. The extraterrestrials used Giza as a testing ground, where their knowledge and advances were put into practice, not only for the benefit of the Egyptians, but as a legacy for future generations. Thus, Giza not only represented the pinnacle of Egyptian civilization, but also the culmination of a joint effort between humans and beings from other worlds to create a city that would transcend time and space. With Giza established as a model of advanced civilization, the star builders, the extraterrestrial beings who had guided the construction of the city, ensured that their knowledge would not be lost over time. The extraterrestrials not only shared advanced technologies with the Egyptians, but also taught them how to preserve and pass on this knowledge to future generations. This transmission of knowledge took place through mystery schools, temples, and priestly lineages that acted as guardians of cosmic secrets. These teachings were encoded in ritual symbols and writings, ensuring that only those with sufficient wisdom and understanding could access this knowledge. The star builders instructed the Egyptians in the art of hieroglyphic writing, where each symbol not only represented a sound or a word, but also contained multiple levels of meaning that could only be deciphered by those who had been initiated into the mysteries. In this way, the knowledge of the extraterrestrials was carefully guarded and passed down throughout generations. The Egyptian priests, custodians of this knowledge, became the intermediaries between the star gods and the people. Their role was vital, as they were responsible for interpreting and applying the alien teachings in the daily life of Egyptian society through ceremonies, constructions, and teaching in the temples. These priests kept the connection with the star builders alive, ensuring that the cosmic principles remained integrated into the structure of Egyptian civilization. Thus, the wisdom of the extraterrestrials was perpetuated, adapting to the needs of each new generation. The transmission of this knowledge also had a profound impact on the cultural and spiritual evolution of Egypt. The myths, legends, and religious beliefs of the Egyptians were shaped by the teachings of the extraterrestrials, creating a belief system that was intrinsically linked to the cosmos. The pharaohs and their priests saw themselves not only as earthly leaders, but as representatives of a stellar wisdom that had to be protected and preserved for the future. Thus, the legacy of the star builders not only influenced the architecture and technology of Egypt, but also its spirituality and its vision of the universe. One of the most fascinating aspects of the legacy of the star builders in Egypt was their advanced medical technology. The extraterrestrials understood that for Egyptian civilization to grow, it was essential to maintain a healthy and strong workforce. Healthy and strong. For this reason, they introduced healing and body maintenance techniques that far exceeded the medical knowledge of the time. These technologies included methods of cell regeneration, the use of energies for healing, and knowledge of plants and minerals with healing properties that humans were just beginning to understand. Medical priests trained in the mysteries of alien healing became the guardians of these technologies. They used crystals, herbs, and devices that emitted specific energies to cure diseases, heal wounds, and prolong life. These methods were not only effective, but also astonishing to those unfamiliar with them. Stories of miraculous healings, the recovery of wounded soldiers, and the prevention of epidemics became legends that reinforced the idea that the pharaohs and their priests had access to divine powers, when in reality, they were using advanced technologies passed down by aliens. Alien medicine also included preventive practices that ensured the health of the general population. Specific rituals and diets were implemented to strengthen the body and spirit, connecting the Egyptians with the energies of the universe. Special chambers within the temples where healings were performed were aligned in such a way as to channel cosmic energies to rejuvenate and balance the individuals who entered them, thus promoting health. Was not seen only as the absence of disease, but as a state of harmony with the universe. The impact of this advanced medical technology was evident in the longevity and strength of Egyptian society, especially among the workers who built the great structures of Giza and other monuments. The extraterrestrials ensured that those who worked to realize their vision of an advanced civilization received the care necessary to maintain their strength and energy. In this way, medical technology was not only a gift for the Egyptians, but an essential tool for the realization of the great projects that defined the civilization of the Nile. The pyramids of Egypt, beyond their function as monumental tombs, they were designed with a much deeper and more complex purpose: to act as centers of cosmic energy. According to theories linking the Egyptians to extraterrestrials, these colossal structures were built at strategic points on the Earth where lines of geothermal and electromagnetic energy lines known as ley lines. The extraterrestrials, with their advanced knowledge, helped the Egyptians design these pyramids to channel and amplify this energy, benefiting the entire civilization. The layout and orientation of the pyramids were not accidental. Each pyramid was precisely aligned with specific stars and constellations, allowing the Egyptians to capture cosmic energies that were then distributed through an invisible network that connected the entire region. This energy network served to not only feed the physical needs of the population, but also their spiritual and religious practices. Temples and other sacred places were connected to this network, which enhanced the rituals and ceremonies performed there. It is also speculated that the pyramids could have functioned as energy generators that emitted specific frequencies. These frequencies, in turn, could influence the health, well-being, and consciousness of those who lived near them. the constant vibration of the cosmic energy within the pyramids would have created an environment conducive to the spiritual and technological evolution of the Egyptians. It is even believed that this energy could have been used to power devices or tools, allowing the Egyptians to perform engineering feats that still defy conventional explanation today. This energy network, supervised by extraterrestrials, was fundamental to the maintenance and growth of Egyptian civilization. The pharaohs and their priests, aware of the power that resided in these structures, they performed numerous ceremonies to keep the energy in balance, thus ensuring the prosperity of their people. The network not only connected the pyramids to each other, but also linked them to other centers of power around the world. Resided in these structures, they performed numerous ceremonies to keep the energy in balance, thus ensuring the prosperity of their people. The network not only connected the pyramids to each other, but also linked them to other centers of power around the world, suggesting that the Egyptians, with the help of star beings, were part of a global network of cosmic energy that transcended the boundaries of their time. The hieroglyphic inscriptions that adorn the walls of temples and monuments throughout Egypt have been the subject of study and admiration for centuries. However, those who believe in extraterrestrial intervention in Egyptian history argue that these hieroglyphs are not just religious or historical symbols, but coded messages from extraterrestrials. According to this theory, the hieroglyphs contain advanced information about technology, astronomy, and cosmic knowledge transmitted to the Egyptians by beings from other worlds. The extraterrestrials taught Egyptian priests how to use the hieroglyphs not only as a writing system, but as a means of storing and communicating knowledge that went beyond the earthly realm. Each symbol and each figure was loaded with multiple layers of meaning accessible only to those who had been initiated into the mysteries of sacred writing. These messages not only recorded historical events, but also served as guides for future scholars who could decode their true meaning. Among the most fascinating secrets believed to are hidden in the hieroglyphs are references to advanced technologies and scientific concepts that humanity would rediscover millennia later. Some researchers suggest that the hieroglyphs contain detailed plans for energy devices, descriptions of interstellar travel, and even instructions for manipulating the energies of the cosmos. The texts in the secret chambers of the pyramids, in particular, have been the subject of theories linking them to alien knowledge about the universe. Hieroglyphic writing was therefore not only a means of communication, but also a legacy left by extraterrestrials for future generations. As modern scholars continue to decipher these ancient texts, some wonder if they could be slowly revealing the true connection between the Egyptians and beings from the stars. Hieroglyphs, rather than simple inscriptions, could be the key to understanding how the ancient Egyptians achieved levels of knowledge and technology that still amaze us today, and how this knowledge was passed down from generation to generation, waiting for the moment when humanity would be ready to understand its true meaning. For centuries, the ancient Egyptians prospered under the guidance of beings from other worlds who shared with them vast knowledge and advanced technology. However, not all knowledge was openly given. The extraterrestrial beings, aware of the dangers of revealing too much to a developing civilization, they established a select group of guardians charged with protecting the most powerful knowledge. These guardians, known as the protectors of knowledge, were beings who maintained constant contact with the extraterrestrials and who, under sacred oath, ensured that only the worthy gained access to the deepest secrets. These beings, half human and half divine in the perception of the Egyptians, operated in the shadows, discreetly guiding the pharaohs and high priests. They built secret chambers and hidden temples where they stored the most advanced technology, hiding it from those who did not have the understanding or purity of heart to use it correctly. These guardians also recorded this knowledge in coded hieroglyphic texts that only the initiated could interpret correctly. Thus, while most Egyptians continued to worship their gods, a select group was aware of the true nature of these gods and mission they had on Earth. The guardians were also the protectors of the entrances to other worlds. It was said that beneath the Great Pyramid of Giza, there were passageways leading to hidden dimensions, to the domains of these star beings. The guardians kept these doors sealed, allowing only the most advanced priests to access these dimensions and receive knowledge directly from the extraterrestrials. In this way, they ensured that the connection with the cosmos was not broken and that the flow of wisdom continued. Although under strict control, this role of guardian also meant that knowledge was always in danger of disappearing if the guardians were eliminated. Thus, as the centuries passed and dynasties changed, the guardians began to disappear, and with them the direct connection with the extraterrestrial beings weakened. But as long as the guardians existed, they ensured that Egypt remained the epicenter of a wisdom that transcended the confines of the earth through time. The guardians of wisdom began to note disturbing signs. Contact with extraterrestrial beings, which had been frequent and direct in the early days, became increasingly sporadic. The visitors from the stars, who had given so much to Egyptian civilization, began to gradually withdraw from Earth. The pharaohs, once powerful in their connection with the star gods, began to feel a void in their communication with the cosmos. The advanced knowledge and technology provided by the extraterrestrials were left in the hands of a humanity that was not yet fully prepared to understand their scope. This withdrawal of the extraterrestrials marked the beginning of a decline in Egyptian civilization. Without the guidance of their ancient allies, the Egyptians found themselves alone to face the challenges of their time. The construction of gigantic monuments ceased, and the temples that had once vibrated with cosmic energy became mere places of ritual worship. The wisdom that the guardians protected began to be lost in time, while the secrets of ancient technologies faded into oblivion. What was once a civilization ahead of its time began to resemble more and more those around it. The disappearance of the extraterrestrials also left a void in the spirituality of the Egyptians. Those who had once spoken directly with the gods now depended on ritual and prayers, waiting for answers that no longer came. Without the direct influence of the star beings, Egyptian civilization began to reinterpret its myths and legends, adapting them to a reality in which extraterrestrials were no longer present. What was once history and science became myth and legend, and the connection between heaven and earth weakened. The end of contact with extraterrestrials marked the beginning of Egypt's decline as the cradle of advanced knowledge, although the pharaohs tried to maintain the legacy of their ancestors. The loss of their cosmic allies meant that the Egypt that once led the world in wisdom and power was destined for a slow but inevitable decline. Ancient texts began to be sealed and forgotten, and advanced techniques became vague memories of a golden age that would never return. As the centuries passed, the pyramids of Egypt, especially the Great Pyramid, became symbols of a glorious past shrouded in mystery. Later generations of pharaohs and priests attempted to decipher the secrets their ancestors had left behind, particularly in the so-called King's Chamber, a room inside the Great Pyramid that had always been shrouded in legends and rumors. According to the stories, this chamber was not only a final resting place for the pharaohs, but also a repository of advanced technology that extraterrestrials had left on Earth during an exploration in search of relics. A group of priests guided by ancient forgotten texts discovered what appeared to be a machine of unknown origin inside the King's Chamber. This technology, which was far ahead of its time, left the priests perplexed. They could not fully understand its purpose, but they knew it was a legacy from the beings who had visited Earth in ancient times. According to some interpretations, this machine had the ability to manipulate cosmic energy, something the ancient Egyptians could only dream of mastering in its entirety. The discovery of this technology renewed interest in ancient myths and legends about the star gods, but it also generated fear. The priests realized that although they possessed something incredibly powerful, they lacked the knowledge necessary to control it or even fully understand it. They decided to seal the King's Chamber once again, hiding the technology from view, fearing that its misuse could bring disaster. Thus, the Great Pyramid remained an enigma, holding within itself a power that the world was not yet ready to unleash. Over the years, the secret of what had been discovered in the king's chamber was kept, and stories about the hidden technology became legends. Only a few initiates knew the truth about what really lay beneath the stones of the Great Pyramid. This discovery, although largely ignored by official history, was a reminder that the ancient Egyptians were not alone in their rise and that the secrets of the cosmos were intertwined with their civilization in ways they were only beginning to understand. With the discovery and sealing of the hidden technology in the king's chamber, a disturbing question began to emerge among the few who knew of its existence. How many other wonders had been forgotten or lost in time as Egyptian civilization advanced? And with the departure of the extraterrestrial beings, much of the advanced knowledge began to fade, along with the tools, devices, and artifacts that had propelled Egypt to the pinnacle of civilization gradually disappeared. Victims of wars, invasions, and simple neglect, internal wars and the invasion of foreign forces, such as the Assyrians and Persians, contributed to the loss of this knowledge. Texts containing crucial information about advanced technologies were looted or destroyed, and temples that had once served as centers of cosmic learning were abandoned or turned into ruins. The few remaining guardians who still possessed fragments of this knowledge found themselves unable to protect it from the tide of change that was sweeping over Egypt. The technological legacy of the extraterrestrials that once defined Egypt as a civilization of power and wisdom was reduced to myths and legends. What was once real and tangible was now remembered only in stories and whispers. The pyramids, once seen as cosmic energy machines, became little more than tombs and monuments to a glorious past. Without the ability to understand or replicate the advanced technology once possessed by the Egyptians, they were trapped in a cycle of decline, moving further and further away from the legacy left to them by the star gods. What remained was a civilization that had once touched the stars, but was now trapped on Earth with its advanced technology lost in time. Although the records of these advances faded, their impact continued to influence in the cultures that followed, inspiring stories of gods and magic, of machines and unimaginable power. But for Egypt, the dream of a golden age faded, and with it the futuristic technology that once made that greatness possible. Over the centuries, the story of how extraterrestrials had influenced the greatness of Egypt faded into the mists of time, transforming into myths and legends that were told and retold through generations. The tales of a civilization that was once the most advanced in the world. Thanks to the help of beings from the stars, they became into stories told around the fireside, inspiring awe and fear. Although the precise facts had been lost, the essence of the truth remained. Egypt had been touched by the gods, and its greatness had been the result of this divine interaction. These legends spoke of pharaohs who were more than human, rulers who had the ear of the gods and could command forces beyond mortal comprehension. The temples, pyramids, and monuments of Egypt, although eroded by time, they remained silent witnesses of an era in which humanity had been in direct contact with cosmic powers. The idea that the ancient Egyptians had achieved a level of technological and spiritual advancement that surpassed any other civilization of the time became a deeply held belief, inspiring those who dreamed of recovering that lost knowledge. Meanwhile, scholars and explorers of later eras began to investigate the mysteries of Egypt with renewed fervor. The inscriptions on the walls of temples and pyramids, once seen as mere religious decorations, were interpreted as possible clues to advanced technology. Legends about magical machines and tools, previously dismissed as fantasy, were now considered clues to knowledge that was yet to be rediscovered. Egypt, despite having fallen from its heyday, remained a place of enigma and fascination, a treasure trove of mysteries that promised to reveal secrets beyond imagination. Finally, legends about extraterrestrial gods and their influence in Egypt became a pillar of modern mythology, inspiring theories and speculation about the origin of civilization, the nature of the cosmos, and the relationship between humans and beings from other worlds. Although the precise details of this cosmic connection have been lost, the conviction that the Egyptians had been the most advanced civilization thanks to the help of extraterrestrials remained, keeping alive the legacy of a golden age. Keeping alive the legacy of a golden age in the collective imagination of humanity throughout the 20th century. In the 20th century, several surprising archaeological discoveries have emerged in Egypt, leaving scientists and archaeologists perplexed. Among these discoveries are objects and structures that seem out of place and out of time, suggesting a technology that should not have existed in such an ancient civilization. One example is the so-called Sabu disc, a piece of stone carved with precision that, according to some researchers, could have been part of a complex mechanism very similar to the technologies we use today. In addition, the precise and symmetrical cuts in gigantic stones have been difficult to explain with the tools believed to have been available in pharaonic times. During excavations on the Giza Plateau, hidden chambers and tunnels have been found that appear to have been excavated with tools that do not align with the known construction techniques of the ancient Egyptians. Some theorize that these secret passageways were built with the help of anti-gravity technology or advanced energy tools possibly provided by beings from other worlds. These theories are supported by the difficulties we still face today in replicating such constructions with similar precision. At other archaeological sites, artistic representations have been discovered that appear to show humanoid figures wearing suits and helmets resembling those we associate with modern astronauts. These images, together with legends mentioning flying ships and sky beings, have led many to speculate that the ancient Egyptians were not only visited by extraterrestrials, but also worked alongside them to build their impressive monuments. These theories gain weight when considered alongside ancient inscriptions and texts describing the arrival of gods from the sky. As explorations continue, new findings continue to fuel the controversy. Although the scientific community remains skeptical, evidence suggesting alien intervention in ancient times has not been completely ruled out. Archaeological discoveries continue to raise questions about how a civilization such as Egypt could have achieved such an advanced level of development so quickly without outside help. For many, the answers may lie in the ancient sites themselves, waiting to be revealed by future generations of archaeologists and researchers. Among the many ancient texts that have been unearthed in Egypt, some appear to contain surprising revelations about the possible intervention of extraterrestrial beings in the history of Egyptian civilization. These texts, written on papyrus and carved in stone, often take the form of myths or religious accounts, but they contain descriptions that suggest direct contact between the pharaohs and gods who came from the stars. In particular, some passages mention these gods providing advanced tools and architectural knowledge that enabled the construction of monuments that defied the capabilities of the time. One of the most intriguing texts is known as the Book of Tod, an ancient manuscript that, according to legend, contained the secrets of the universe and was dictated by a god with cosmic knowledge. Although many fragments of the book have been lost, those that remain describe Tod as a being who came from the stars, bringing with him the wisdom necessary to build the Great Pyramid and other monuments. This account has led some researchers to theorize that Tod and other Egyptian gods were actually extraterrestrials who interacted directly with humanity, sharing their advanced technology. In addition, there are accounts in the texts of the pyramids and in the Book of the Dead that mention bright ships descending from the sky carrying the gods, who then instructed the pharaohs on how to erect sacred structures. These stories, although veiled in religious symbolism, have been interpreted by some as descriptions of encounters with otherworldly beings. The idea that the Egyptian gods were extraterrestrial visitors has remained alive in folklore and esoteric research, suggesting that the technology used in the construction of the pyramids and other monumental works was of non-terrestrial origin. Most surprising is that these ancient texts are not limited to Egypt. In other contemporary civilizations, such as those of Sumer and Mesoamerica, also contain similar accounts of gods who descended from the sky to teach humans the art of construction and social organization. This global pattern has led some to postulate that the connection between the ancient Egyptians and extraterrestrials was part of a larger effort by these beings to guide the development of human civilization across the planet. The fascination with pyramids is not limited to Egypt. Throughout history, discovered pyramidal structures in various parts of the world, from the pyramids of Mesoamerica to those of China. This global dispersion of similar monuments has led many researchers to wonder if there is a connection between these structures and if they all share a common origin possibly linked to the intervention of extraterrestrial beings. The idea that these pyramids were designed or influenced by the same star visitors who helped the Egyptians is a theory that has gained popularity in certain circles in Mesoamerica. The pyramids of Teotihuacan, Chichen Itza, and others have architectural features that, although different in style, share certain principles with the Egyptian pyramids, such as their precise astronomical alignment and their monumentality. Some experts suggest that these similarities are not coincidental, but the result of an exchange of knowledge facilitated by beings from other worlds. These theories are reinforced by local legends that, like the Egyptian ones, speak of gods who descended from the sky and taught ancient civilizations how to build their cities and temples. In Asia, the pyramids of Xi'an in China have been another focus of speculation. These structures, which were kept secret for centuries, also feature a design and orientation that suggest advanced knowledge of astronomy and mathematics. Some researchers believe that the Chinese emperors may have had contact with the same extraterrestrials who influenced the ancient Egyptians, which would explain the pyramids, which would explain the similarities in their construction methods. In addition, Chinese legends speak of emperors who received wisdom and power from celestial dragons, which some interpret as metaphors for spaceships or extraterrestrial beings. These connections between the pyramids of different cultures have led to the conclusion that while architectural methods and styles may vary, all these civilizations shared a common influence: the gods of the stars and the existence of these pyramids around the world. Reinforces the idea that ancient humans were not alone in their technological and spiritual development, and that extraterrestrials played a crucial role in the evolution of humanity by transmitting their knowledge to various cultures across the planet. As research progresses, some archaeologists and scientists have begun to speculate that the technology used in the construction of the pyramids was much more advanced than has traditionally been believed. One theory that has gained traction is that the ancient Egyptians, with the help of their extraterrestrial allies, used techniques that we still do not fully understand. The idea that they employed methods such as acoustic levitation or gravity manipulation to move and place the gigantic stone blocks is increasingly discussed among experts who study these enigmas. Modern experiments have shown that it is possible to use high-frequency sound waves to levitatesimal objects, small objects, leading some to postulate that the ancients may have developed or received knowledge about how to apply this technology on a much larger scale. Furthermore, the precision with which the stones were cut and assembled in the pyramids suggests that tools were used that far exceed any technology available at that time in history. These precise cuts and alignments continue to challenge archaeologists, who cannot explain how they were achieved. Achieved without advanced machinery. Another technology that has been speculated to have been used is the manipulation of the Earth's electromagnetic energy. It has been suggested that the pyramids could have been built at specific points where the Earth's energy was strongest, and that this energy was channeled to facilitate construction. Some even believe that the pyramids were part of a global network of energy generators using a technology that has been forgotten or never fully understood by later civilizations. The idea that the technology used to build the pyramids was rediscovered or transmitted by beings from other worlds offers an intriguing explanation for the mysteries surrounding these monuments. This theory not only sheds light on how these colossal structures could have been built, but also suggests that the ancient Egyptians were in possession of knowledge that was somehow lost over time. Although these ideas remain controversial, they continue to capture the imagination of those seeking answers to the greatest enigmas in human history. The question of whether the pyramids of Egypt were built with the help of extraterrestrials remains one of the most fascinating and controversial in human history. Although the idea has been widely rejected by the traditional scientific community, circumstantial evidence and global similarities between pyramidal structures have kept this theory alive for those who support the extraterrestrial hypothesis. Extraterrestrial hypothesis. The pyramids are not only stone monuments, but tangible evidence of direct interaction between humans and beings from other worlds. Defenders of this theory argue that the combination of astronomical knowledge, advanced construction techniques, and tools that seem to have stood the test of time can only be explained if the ancient Egyptians received help from a more advanced civilization. According to this perspective, the pharaohs were not only political and religious leaders, but also intermediaries between humans and the gods. The mysteries surrounding the pyramids, from their precise orientation to the energetic properties that some attribute to them, would be evidence of this interplanetary cooperation. On the other hand, skeptics maintain that humanity is capable of extraordinary achievements without the need for extraterrestrial intervention. They argue that the pyramids are a testament to the ingenuity, social organization, and technological skill of the ancient Egyptians. However, even they cannot deny that some questions remain unanswered, leaving room for speculation about whether there was something else involved in the construction of these architectural marvels. Ultimately, the legacy of extraterrestrials in the construction of the pyramids remains open to interpretation. Whether considered a conspiracy theory, an intriguing possibility, or simple fiction, the idea that the gods of the stars helped erect these monuments has left an indelible mark on our understanding of ancient history. The pyramids of Egypt, therefore, continue to be not only a wonder of the ancient world, but also a symbol of the mystery surrounding our connection to the cosmos. When reflecting on the extraordinary history of ancient Egypt through the lens of extraterrestrial contact, a narrative emerges that challenges conventional interpretations of history. The idea that extraterrestrials could have influenced the development of one of the most advanced civilizations of antiquity is both fascinating and provocative. Theories suggesting that beings from other worlds participated in the construction of the pyramids, taught advanced techniques, and left a legacy inscribed in hieroglyphics lead us to question how much of what we know about Egypt is actually based on reality. The possible role of extraterrestrials in Egypt also makes us reconsider the nature of the gods that the ancient Egyptians worshipped. Could these deities have been representations of visitors from other planets whose knowledge far exceeded that of humans at the time? Could Egyptian religion, architecture, and science be partly the result of direct contact with intelligences beyond our comprehension, giving new meaning to stories of gods descending from the sky? However, the disappearance of these supposed cosmic allies marked the end of a golden age for Egypt. With time, the connection between humans and extraterrestrials was lost, leaving behind a legacy of mysteries and seemingly inexplicable achievements. The massive structures, precise stellar alignments, and medical advances that characterized ancient Egypt could be the remnants of a time when men walked alongside the gods, learning from them and absorbing their teachings as best they could. Ultimately, the legacy of this theory of extraterrestrial contact in Egypt not only reconfigures our understanding of the past, but also raises questions about the future. If these beings really existed and helped forge one of the first civilizations, is it possible that they will do so again? And if so, how will this knowledge influence future generations? The history of ancient Egypt, seen through this prism, remains a fertile field for exploration and discovery, challenging us to look beyond the known and open our minds to the extraordinary. And that's all for today. If you liked it, you can subscribe and see more stories about civilizations, mysteries, and legends. I also encourage you to leave a comment about what story you would like to know more about, and we will create it for all of you. Greetings from the ancient historian.